855-781-007 or 1-800-348-1007.
Yes, this is the campaign slithered in jails in the cargo bay. A new turd is the vastness hollow back.
Anybody remember a band called At the Drive-In?
Love them.
Probably 20 years ago or so.
Yep.
This song was out. It's called One Armed Scissor. Good song. Also, ironically, my favorite genre of amputee lesbian porn.
Hey.
This guy's back in the news. At the Drive-In didn't last long. Everybody in the band kind of split off into two camps.
Yeah.
This guy, Cedric Bixler, started the Mars Volta. The other guys, what was the other band?
Sparta.
Sparta, yeah.
Like both.
I was thinking of
both the bands that came from this band, and I like this band.
Yeah. I was thinking like when Son Volt and Uncle Tupelo, all those guys kind of went off and did their own thing. But Cedric Bixler, I think he and the other main guy from At the Drive-In are in Mars Volta, and then the other guys at Sparta. But he is back in the news because of the new Linkin Park singer. They are getting a lot of attention for this girl and not the way that they would want. And now that they have unveiled, at the end of our show last night, that Linkin Park countdown clock launched everything that these guys were doing. They were doing a live stream. They announced a handful of tour dates that they're doing. They've got a new album, their first in however many years since the death of Chester Bennington. 7-8 years?
Yeah.
Called Year Zero. And they replaced Chester Bennington with a girl named Emily Armstrong. She was in an LA band called Dead Sarah. And I guess she used to be friends with Cedric Bixler because they were all Scientologists. And so this is the bad press that Linkin Park is getting because people are like, yeah, she's been a pretty hardcore Scientologist, and she was one of the people that was supporting Danny Masterson in his rape trial. Remember Danny Masterson?
Yeah.
This is the guy from that 70s show who was accused of raping a bunch of girls, and he ended up getting 30 years in prison. But he was a hardcore Scientologist. And so the Church of Scientology, as they do, were circling the wagons around him and making life very, very difficult for other people who were speaking out against him, and especially other Scientologists. They don't like it when you leave. And Cedric Bixler and his wife had left Scientology. And nobody ever quietly leaves Scientology. They leave, and then they're very publicly against Scientology. Leah Remini being kind of exhibit A of what the public knows. Scientology. And so Cedric Bixler reposted this post that I guess he sent to her at the time about how she was being very supportive of Danny Masterson. And so this is not the kind of press that Linkin Park wants, I think that out of the gate, she sounded, at least what part of that global live stream I was kind of watching and listening to last night, I'm sure she was nervous. I'm sure she was, but she was really, really pushing hard. Stansbury and I were talking about this before I started today, the end of his show. And, it's an interesting way for them to go. I don't know if a history with Scientology should be how you're defined. But you also have to think, okay, well, how many people did they ask to front Linkin Park before they landed on her? There were rumors that they had asked Lizzie Hale to do it from Hailstorm, and rumors that they had asked Amy Lee of Evanescence to do it. Now, I don't know if either of that's true, but I have to imagine that this Emily Armstrong is not the very first person they asked to front Linkin Park. But this big performance last night also had to be the culmination of a lot of rehearsal. And everybody's got to kind of clear their head of Chester Bennington, of hearing him sing these songs for a long time. and still hearing him sing these songs on the radio or listening to any recorded Linkin Park.
Well, that was my question. Like, are they still going to play the old? They're going to have to,
yeah,
right?
she's
Like
singing
on
them.
radio.
Yeah, she's
singing them.
on
They did a full
radio.
set. I mean,
No, we're playing a new song from them. I mean, it's
Sure.
it's equal parts Mike Shinoda singing too, so it's not like she's full on doing everything.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But are there, okay, I guess maybe the
I don't
stupid
think they're
question
gonna
is,
re-release these songs with her singing them, unless they do like live stuff. But I don't think they're, you know, the original versions are gonna live on.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched the live stream, and there was parts where she sounded okay,
Yeah.
and there's parts where she, like you said, she was really pushing, and then there was just the overall like, man, this really just bums me out because I love Chester's voice, and he was, you know, like you said, the heart and soul of that band, and I get that they're gonna try and redefine what they are and move on to a new era, but there's also other guys that can sing pretty close to what Chester was doing. I think when you got to get a new lead singer for your band, get a Filipino. That's how I feel.
Yeah, there you go.
Get a Filipino.
Yeah. Well, we're for Journey.
Yeah. Now the good news, ticket prices should be lower because they don't have to pay her as much.
There you go.
So, bright side.
70%.
Well, but I'm also curious why Rob Borden didn't come back with them. He was one of their founding members. He played the drums for them for a long time. And so they have this new front woman, but also a new drummer. And so
I saw that he said he was just trying to put distance between him and the band and just kind of.
Is that what it is?
That's what I read because they did a.
He didn't want to do a post Chester.
Well, they did
iteration?
another live stream this morning on their YouTube channel, and Mike Shinoda said that, yeah, he was just, you know, even through the years before Chester was gone, like he was showing up less and less to stuff.
I see.
Just kind of had run its course for him.
Why?
Girl, you know my singer died. My singer died. Now I guess we gotta use Mike Shinoda.
The new song with Emily Armstrong is called The Emptiness Machine, and we've been playing it on MMS. And it's okay.
I have not heard it.
See if I can find it for you.
Play me a little something, Alan.
Your blades are sharpened with precision.
She sounds wild.
Flashing your favorite point of view.
You'd think they'd want a woman who didn't sound so much like Mike Shinoda.
Right.
You're waiting in the distance. Just like you always do. Just like you always do. Already pulling me in. Already under my skin. And I know exactly how this ends. I let you cut me open just to watch me bleed.
When does she start?
I don't
It's
know.
it's like a little while. It's like
Okay.
you get, this is still the edging, as Sansbury was saying.
Yeah, and then she gives
And
you
then
the
we
orgasm.
Get the orgasm. Yeah. Here comes the nut.
This sounds familiar.
I mean, it's very Evanescence.
Is she? She's not from Evanescence.
No,
No.
but it's very like.
There's a vibe there
Yeah.
that's, a lot of female rock singers kind of had that.
I don't know if I like this.
Well, listen, it's the first song from them. People are going to have to get their heads around it. I think a year in, people will be like, I like what Linkin Park is doing now. But,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people who aren't into Linkin Park because they thought it was too whiny. But it was very much the definition of like a millennial rock band that was the biggest. I saw Linkin Park a handful of times. They were amazing live every time. They loved the fans. They were just like, to me at that time, they were the epitome of a band that the audience and the band all had their arms around each other and could do no wrong. It was a long time ago. I had dinner with Chester and his first wife, just as Linkin Park was starting to kind of go supernova. This is a thing in New York a long time ago. It was me and my boss and Chester and his wife. And he just couldn't have been, I'm sure I've told the story, but I mean, he just could not have been nicer. And obviously, you knew this was a guy who was pretty damaged too. But that's what made that band what it was. So it's way too early for people to be going like,
Play
oh,
a little
this
bit
sucks
more,
or whatever. But the whole science, but again, to come full circle, this is not the kind of press that they wanted associated with launching a brand new iteration of this band that everybody loved, right? Or that a lot of people loved.
You know what I think it sounds like? It sounds like Pretty Reckless.
Yeah, well, a female-fronted band, a rock band, is going to kind of have that growl kind of vibe to it, and
I don't hate it.
It's fine.
It's literally
Linkin Park.
Right, that's exactly how it feels.
Know,
yeah, it's Linkin Park with Emily
Armstrong,
Scientologist lady.
Yeah.
I think with the rape defender.
I think that Mike Shinoda having vocals even in the Chester Linkin Park era is good. I always make the analogy to Alice in Chains. When they came back 20 years ago.
And they hired Allison.
Allison was done. No, they hired a guy named William Duvall who had been with a band that had gone on the road with Alice in Chains. They all knew each other. He had been with some band, I forget what they were called, The Fall or something like that. And so William Duvall has been the frontman for Alice in Chains, but Jerry Cantrell also sings a lot of that stuff. So it wasn't so much of a left turn. And at this point, William Duvall's been in Alice in Chains longer than Lane Staley, ironically. But when you see them, you're like, oh, Jerry Cantrell provided so many of those great harmonies, and so it's not like the new guy is singing every bit of every song. So this girl kind of going back and forth. Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington went back and forth too. They traded off a lot of those parts. So on the one hand, I'm like, I think it's cool that this is how they're reintroducing themselves to people. I still haven't talked to Corey Roddick about it. He's such a massive Linkin Park fan that I'm curious what his take on it is. And he's probably pretty, if I know Corey, he's probably pretty open-minded about it. But it's fine. It's fine. I wish them success. But again, the stories today are about everybody's giving her, because it's social media time.
Yeah.
Linkin Park
Everybody's
didn't have to contend with that 20 years.
Talk about it, yeah.
So, I don't know. But I'm genuinely curious who else they asked before they asked this girl. And obviously, if you're a girl in some L.A. band that some people have heard of, you're not going to say no to, would you like to join Linkin Park? But there's a lot of pressure on her, too. It's not like you just slide right in and everybody's along for the ride. But but Cedric Bixler from Mars Volta is going knives out on her because he's a former Scientologist, and he's not taking too kindly to, I guess, people not paying attention to it. I don't know. Mike Shinoda has done his own solo stuff, yes. He did Fort Minor, and he did some other things. I think he was Fort Minor. And it's not like lyrically the band has done a left turn either.
Now, that sounds very Linkin Parky lyrics.
Yeah.
Got me open, said and then I sing.
There you go.
And I sing.
What is it?
I'm sad and then I sing.
Yeah. Well, it is. Chester Bennington was the voice of I was going to say voice of a generation, but a very specific. They were the rock band for that kind of millennial thing.
I mean, they were the new metal band that had a little bit more sadness. Like, Limp Bizkit was the F you on the
rappers.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna do what you tell me. And then there was Korn that was just like a little more like, I don't know, dirty. Yes, Korn is dirty. And then but then Linkin Park was the one that was like, oh, there's a little bit more emotion to
They were
this.
damaged.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little more,
and new
more
metal
sensitivity to
it.
but
also every new metal band was defined by I got molested or didn't get enough hugs from my dad. That's why the whole Aaron Lewis pivot to calling everybody snowflakes is so funny, because Stained built their entire career on him whining about how he didn't get enough love.
I don't understand.
Well, that's Puddle of Mud. Most of their songs were about getting laid and,
Wait, who?
Puddle of Mud
Stained?
did.
Stain
Puddle
was-
of Mud did that song you're singing.
Yeah.
What did Stained do?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since my dad left.
Right, and I didn't get hugs. This is Puddle of Mud,
yeah.
Mary. You remember Puddle of Mud? This is them.
Easy friend, I do. With the head to hand, I do. Think you fit this too, I do. But you have a clue. Take it.
No, Stained is, and they're,
Far away.
well,
Is that them? Or was that Nickelback?
so far away. I think you're singing Nickelback. I mean, So Far Away, For You is a Stained song. I mean, they got some bangers, But again, Aaron Lewis, Stained, every Stained song is about how he didn't get enough hugs. So it's funny to become a little bit older and follow the exact same playbook as everybody who gets old and cranky. And it's not like the guy's 70. He's like my age. Aaron Lewis is 50.
Almost 70.
Shut up, Mary.
Dude, you're old, bro.
I'm 53. That's older than you.
Just a little
It's
spring
not
chicken.
old.
A little spring chicken.
Yeah, I am spry. Thank you very much. I'm in amazing shape. That's what my doctor says. Aaron Lewis is 52 years old.
I'm 50.
Bill, you want to start the weekend?
Let's do it.
Hopefully it won't get cut off by a wayward casino advertisement. On the Bill Squire Friday, get down in honor of the late, great Murray Saul here at WMMS and Mary Santora's favorite segment of the entire week. It's how we start the weekends. Take it away, William.
It's Friday! And you got to get down on Friday. Have some drinks till you become so numb that you're crawling in the dark. And in the end, you just park Linkin, park Linkin, park Linkin. It's Friday!
Mary, did you see what he did?
I saw. Try hard.
He worked Linkin Park song titles
Oh, I heard.
in
I heard what it was.
into the Get Down.
I heard it.
And with that, go and do likewise, gents. The weekend is now officially underway. Mary can go home and sleep.
Oh.
Yes, she can.
She can go take a nap.
Nappy poo, nappy poo.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mary.
Bye.
And we'll come back, wrap everything up. If you want to get the last word in, send me a text, 35192. Guardians baseball, but late tonight. They're on the West Coast against the Dodgers. That is a 10-10 start on MMS.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
On our free iHeartRadio app,